like to start this video by recommending that book by Alan Watts. Hey Planet Earth, Untamed Druid again. So, going back at it, video 6. This video, what I want to call it, is how do I know what I should know? And really, the idea behind this video is there's so much information out there that how do you know what your calling is? How do you know what information you, specifically yourself, should pay attention to? And how do you know if it's just noise that's going on around you? So my first big concept, this episode is mostly going to be about numerology. It'll diverge a little bit later, but I'm going to start off with a higher concept of numerology, in that if the 5 is the human, there are there's 2 human elements in this count to 9, but count to 10. So 6 represents the 1. You've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go back over here to this new it represents your ethereal body or your spirit body. So you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So this is the first. This is the pinky of this hand. Does that make sense? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's how you get to 10. It's 2 5s. So 6 being the initiation of entering into your spirit body. 6 represents being a 5 and a 1, represents the 5, or the individual person, growing to awareness of their individual self. So 6 by itself represents intuition and the ability to understand what's going on without having it being told directly to you by some source, and you're like, oh, thank you, outside source. I would have not been able to take care of myself if I didn't have you telling me everything, exactly what to do. So that's, without intuition, we're left stranded, and we need to be able to, or we need to have people tell us exactly what to do, because intuition properly functioning does that on its own. So that's the function of intuition. You could think of 6 as just being awareness, just basic awareness, just you being able to look around and see things. I'm aware of this microphone I've got here, and my book, and this pencil. It's in my awareness because I'm paying attention to it. So you intuitively will be able to pick up what I'm saying, because your intuition is really just the process of you being aware of yourself as an individual. So beyond what the 5 suggests, because the 5 isn't really you being aware of yourself as an individual. It just, the 5 represents the concept of individual people existing. So 6 is, because it deals more with your spirit body and the ethereal body, or the spirit plane, or whatever. The 6 represents the departure from physical world related understanding to more of the illusory, kind of hard to pin down ideas. So let's see. Pause. I forgot. So I will do this. You know, 6 can be 3 and 3, or a 4 and a 2, or a 5 and a 1. And generally, the best outlook is just the 5 and the 1. You know, and the 5 and the 1, you know, if you view 5 as a person and then plus 1, it's just, yeah, the awareness of the person, you know. So it just kind of suggests itself once you see it lined up. And 4 plus 2 is, you know, the elements of creation plus uh, dualism, you know, which is a better sort of dualism, but it kind of leads to good creation and bad creation, you know, so that can be a little dangerous. And then 3 and 3 is probably the most it's probably the most literal and the least, at least from where I'm thinking about it now. 3 is probably the least relatable, I guess. Let me think about that. Gotcha. So the original 3, the 1, 2, 3, kind of, in its easiest way to understand, represent the 3 divisions. You know, your head, your torso, and then your lower body. And then from that, there are 3 more distinctions, basically, and that's what the second 3 is. So it's, yeah, 3 distinctions added to the original 3 distinctions. So it's like a you know, viewing yourself as a whole, and then you viewing yourself as 3 distinct parts, and then viewing those 3 distinct parts as having 3 distinct parts within each of those. You know, so the 6 really represents your mind, I would say. You can switch it and have your 6, you know, be the middle, just 3, 6, 9. But yeah, to me, it just depends on where you think the spirit lies. And if you know, think your spirit lies in your heart, then you're probably going to put your heart, you know, at the top. If you think your spirit lies in your mind, you're probably going to put your mind at the top. So it's just personal preference. All of this is personal preference. But so 3, 6, 9, 6 connects 3, or the third realm, the 3-dimensional realm that we exist in. 6 connects 3 to 9. So if you add 3 to 6, you get 9. And 9 is the perfected individual. So that's what we're taking a journey towards. We're trying to get to the point of being perfected individuals. And how do you, what does that even mean? How do you get there? You get there through the 6. And the 6 is intuition. And so you go from being a 3-dimensional creature to a creature that's aware of itself to a perfected being that is able to, through its awareness, perfect the art of being an individual being. Yeah, so, you know, 6 is huge. 6 is, what is it? I'm a 6. If you add all my birth numbers, or like the date of my birth, if you add them all up and collapse it, it's 6. So, or no, it's 8. But I'm 6th in my family, so 6 is a big number for me. To me it represents, yeah, intuition, basically just the ability of somebody to pick up what's being put down without, you know, reading about it in a, you know, a visitor manual, or like I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but yeah, so I am the 6th person of my family. So if you want to pay attention to that, you know, I would be the intuitive person of my family. So, you know, and it's just that simple, you know, and it's not always one for one, because, you know, sometimes it's not always as obvious, but it's basically that, you know, generally your dad's going to be the 1, your mom might be the 0 or the 2, depending. I would think that the mom would be the 0 and the dad would be the 1. But, however you want to do that. Yeah, and then depending on where you want to start, some people start at 0, some people start at 1. If you start at 0, I would be a 5. There's so many avenues in numerology that it's like there's lots of different corridors and you get lost. You forget what you're talking about, as I do often. So mostly watching my videos, watching these videos, whether regardless of how you feel about them, you watching the videos is you applying your awareness. So you applying your awareness to watch this video is basically the easiest example that I can give of how to work with your 6. So I guess let me say this. So 6 is awareness, roughly. What is awareness? So what does it mean to be aware of something? Well, I came up with a simple, to me, it means to focus. If you're aware of something, if you're aware that on the other side of this door behind me, there's a bear, then you're not necessarily, but your awareness of the fact that there's a bear behind it kind of implies that you're focusing on it. You don't necessarily have to be focusing on it to have awareness of it, but awareness, you're playing baseball, you're being aware of everything, you're focusing on everything. It's wide-gazed, not focus as in individual pinprick, focus as in, you're just like in the moment. You're doing exactly what you need to do when you need to do it because you're paying attention. And that kind of focus. So awareness coupled with focus, basically, which I would call attention. So you give things attention, and then what would you call attention? Attention is it's a less romantic form of care. So basically, if you're going to say 6 is awareness, you could say that 6 is your ability to actively participate in caring about what you're doing. So, and it's not necessarily caring like, oh, this is so great, or, in a like a juvenile way of caring about something, but actually the more you care about what's going on, regardless of what situation you're in, the more you will just intuitively pick up what you're supposed to be doing and what is supposed to be happening and how it's supposed to be done. And you'll just pick it up and you'll just know it and you'll just remember it. And it directly comes from your ability as an individual to care about whatever it is that you are doing. Because that's where the desire for awareness comes from. So, you pay attention to the things that you care about, so you can also turn it around though, and the things that you pay attention to are the things that you care about. So like, if you're paying attention to something that isn't necessarily the best, you care about that in some way, so it's really just understanding that like what we give our time to is what is telling us how to live, and there's no way to limit that telling us how to live aspect, because that's just how humans interact. We set up master-slave dynamics all over the place. We'll set them up with books. We'll set them up with grand teachers that died 100 years ago. We do all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't really, it doesn't really make sense. And it's because, in my mind, that we've completely, as kind of like a race, we've kind of diminished the ability of intuition by just assuming that your intuition's wrong in a way where it's like we gaslight. I hate using the word gaslight. Everybody uses it, but we like gaslight each other into being unsettled with our own mind and try to, freak each other out so that we can have some sort of power play go on. And it's like, well, what the, why is that important? Why is that what we're doing? Why not do that? Yeah, so you just gotta care, you just gotta care. Really caring about yourself is the first step towards reaching your spirit body. And that's, to me, that's what the 5 and the 1 is. And that's, the 6 is, to me, there are those different aspects of 6, but to me, the 5 and the 1 really represent all of that the 6 is supposed to be. And generally that's how I view all of the numbers that you can break down into separate numbers. It's the 1 plus the previous number is the purest understanding of it, and then there's different understandings that can come with the 4 and the 2 or the 3 and the 3. But those, it can all get a little heavy if you're not like actively practicing and maintaining definitions in your own mind. So if you're just like watching, trying to be updated, sorry if I lose you. So yeah. Okay, shoot. So I got most of what I wanted to talk about out of the way. 15 minutes, shoot. So I have 3 tattoos. I should have done this on the 3 video, but the one that I want to focus on, I've got one behind my ear. I'm not gonna show you. I got that guy, which is not a Pokeball. That's not a Pokeball, whoever said it. It's supposed to represent the earth. The circle's the earth, and then the line is the, it kind of looks like the Deathly Hallows thing, actually. But yeah, but the earth with the flat line of human existence. We exist on the flat plane, but we're encapsulated by a circle, which is a natural system. So anyway, and then I have this one also. That one there. Yeah, so okay. So yeah, that one kind of looks like Satan. The idea is that it's not Satan, is that it's Hermes, and those 2 little horns on the top of its circle head is those are supposed to be Hermes' little wings. If you remember. Sorry, kind of close to the mic. I hope that doesn't sound rough. Yeah, if you remember Hermes from Hercules, just the Disney cartoon, he's always got the little wings on his hat, or the wings on his shoes. Yeah, it's supposed to represent Hermes or Mercury, and really, to me, I guess I'll show it again. So get some light here. So yeah, you got your 2 antennas that are connected by the world, which is the antennas represent my parents, and then the world represents just like being met in the process of life, like they were coupled together. And then out of that union with the world that these 2 created came the 4 children. My brother, firstborn, being the closest to their relation to the earth, and then I am the exact opposite pole, because I am the furthest from them forming that relationship that they have. So yeah, it's really just it's a diagram representing my family and the formation of my family. So yeah, just being able to code in that much into, simple stick and circle, drawing, it definitely comes from numerology, and it definitely comes from, practicing your 6 and having intuition and, just putting that care into it. So it's like, I'm not just gonna, put something on my body, especially right in my fucking solar plexus, that I'm not going to have some deep kind of like continually evolving understanding of what I put on my body, So to get a tattoo and to have that little amount of awareness of it, that you're just like, yeah, I mean, I don't really care what it is, and I don't really, it's just like, well, again, that's implying through the rest of all of these other videos that we've talked about, if you don't care about your body, you don't care about being alive. And if you don't care about being alive, that's going to be implicit in all of the decisions that you make. So, yeah, that's not good in my mind. Yeah, and then I guess I didn't show it, but it's basically the same idea. There's a cross for the tattoo behind my ear. There's a cross, and then on the top of the cross, there's a triangle, which is just supposed to either represent sulfur or mind, in my estimation. These are all alchemical symbols, but dividing so basically I labeled my body I divided it into the three parts: the spirit being, in my chest, fire being in the mind, and earth being around my feet. So that's what I mean. I put the 9 in the middle and the 6 on top. But lots of people won't do that. So it's just, once you get into it, it's just like, well, whatever floats your boat, as long as you're following these same basic consistent rules. So intuition is how you know what you should know. So anything that you're paying attention to, if you're watching this video, maybe you should pay attention to numerology. Maybe you should look up numerology. If you're watching baseball, maybe you care about baseball. So it's anything that if you just stop trying to control yourself and you just let yourself do what you naturally do, and then pursue that. Just pursue it. Because that's your intuition. You not trying to control what you're doing, and then just allowing yourself to do anything. And then you just pursuing that, where you're not trying to control what you're doing. You're just trying to do what you're doing. That is the process of you using your intuition to know what you need to know. So like, if you just walk into a library, and this is how I always do it, walk into like a bookstore or something, you walk around and you familiarize yourself with the space. You understand where you are, you understand what books are around you, if they sorted by author, you understand what the authors around you, and it doesn't need to be anything super in depth, but then you basically use your intuition, which is what you care about. So, you're walking around these aisles, you're looking at different books, you're looking at different movies, and randomly certain ones pop out to you. Other ones, equally as bright, equally as, what could this be about, don't pop out to you. You're not interested. So whatever, once you become aware of the whole situation that you're in and everything that you're looking at, and you go through and you're like, now what do I care about? What do I want to watch? And if you look at things with that mindset of, what do I want to do? You are now engaging your intuition. So, how do you know what you should know? What do you care about? And then that's the stuff that you should know, whatever you care about. And you can take that in a lot of different ways, but that's how you know what you should care about. You should care about what you care about, and it doesn't matter if anyone else cares about it. It's just allowing yourself to be open to the idea that what you care about matters, and you caring about it regardless if anybody agrees with you or cares about it equally. So to me, 6 is the six is the you factor. It's you standing up for yourself, and declaring that you are yourself, and that you have your own opinions, you have your own interests, and that what else are you supposed to do? Have someone else's opinions? Have someone else's interests? Like, there's, it's really just coming up to that inevitable, society's going to demonize you for kind of taking this path, because, I mean, if you look at writers like, Jung, he's not really talked about, or Freud, but Freud's kind of more understandable. But like writers like Ayn Rand and other individualist writers, can't really think of any off the top of my head, but they are basically ignored. Ayn Rand came out with her stuff in like the 30s and the 50s, and a long time ago, and there's no one that really pays attention to her individualism message, really. Atlas Shrugged and Fountainhead and For Those Who Need Philosophy or something like that. But she just really drives home how the individual is seen as the threat to society, and no one acknowledges how society is made up of individuals. So, in what she's saying is like the schema is that everybody's a threat, and at any moment you can be taken out, because any individual is a threat to the society, because and it's just like, whoa, holy crap. So once you get there, you have to understand that there are forces at play that do not want you to acknowledge that you feel a certain way about something. If they just want you to agree with what's common, and then that's it. And why would you think about what, why would you try to align with what you think about something? Because if you do that, then people will get upset, and they try to use that emotional manipulation to just corner us into this, I'm gonna just agree with what you said and then not think about it at all, and just there's lots of pressure being applied on us to behave in that way, and so we do, and we're not really aware that that pressure is there, or we don't know how to communicate about it, and so if we feel like we're genuinely making our own decisions, even though we're being handheld and led to these decisions by these people that have already made the decision, and they already know what will happen because of that decision being made. And despite that, they're just in their power. That's just what they want. They want you to believe that they have everything under control, and believe that you need to just listen to them, and kind of, oh yeah, I was losing myself there, but Ayn Rand really, for the one, if you're looking into numerology, but also for the six, the one is really just acknowledging that you matter a lot. Every single person matters, and that includes you. And you matter not only because you have potential utility to me. I don't care about that. I don't believe that other people really have any utility in that way. It's not a game of how can you benefit me, and that's again a part of the 2-3, but it's more, you're important because you exist just like I do, and because we are all representations of the energy that is creating us, or created us, or that is sustaining us. Because we are all representations of that energy, we can all be said to be the same. So it's not that I don't care about other people. It's just that, if I'm going to say I'm going to focus on what I care about, I would like for other people to do that too. And if we stop meeting up all in this giant you know, where we're all just trying to get what we want, but we're all randomly pretending like we care about each other in a way where we can sacrifice what we want so that other people benefit, and that will be what we want even though we want what we want. You know, it's just like, right, so we're, you know, if we all just pursue what we're individually interested in and stop trying to pretend like we're going to take care of everybody. You know, there's homeless people currently all over the world, you know, so we can't really, I think we should back off of these, you know, social justice kind of movements where we're like pretending that we want equal rights for everybody. And it's just like, what? There aren't equal rights anywhere in the world, you know? And then if you're in America or a more whatever urbanized place, I don't want to say civilized, but just a more Western thinking, I guess, place, there's, you know, there's places in the world that, you know, actively limit your freedoms that you take for granted here. You know, so you could either not have those freedoms and not be able to speak, not be able to be heard, you know, or you can exist here and have to deal with people that, you know, you don't agree with, which is, you know, it's like, what are you trying to get rid of those people? Like, maybe you do belong in China, you know, you're trying to just silence, you know, your opposition. Well, you know, that only, that that shows that you don't, you're not respecting people. And if you're not respecting people, you know, there's only a certain amount of things that can come from that. So yeah, so a little bit shorter video, but I hoped you guys liked it, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get all the notifications, notification bell for the notifications. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Peace.